Mitt Romney's main rival for the Republican presidential nomination is calling it a day.
While this presidential race for us is over, for me, we are not done fighting.
Rick Santorum's decision to drop out of the race clears the way for Romney's now seemingly inevitable nomination. For the latest on this turn of events, we go to Washington, where we're joined by political analyst Solon Simmons. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, what do you make of the timing of this? I mean, clearly he knew he didn't have the support, but his race was sure an interesting one, with support coming from areas he didn't even expect it to.
Yeah, I think, well, the timing is fairly straightforward. I mean, we never expected Santorum to do as well as he did. He did very well in Iowa, which is always a good signal, especially for a kind of a rural conservative voter in the Republican primary. But I think that what we clearly saw is that he was not going to be able to hold this. And the big moment, I think, was in Michigan, which was seen as Romney's home state. And the idea was, could Rick Santorum win there? And when he couldn't win there, it was all but inevitable. So the question was, how long does a cost-benefit analysis? How long should he stay in, and when should he get out? And it just seemed like this might have been the point to get out before he burned any bridges.
And we just heard him in that clip saying, you know, this race is over for him, but the political fight is not. What do you think that means, and where do you think he'll go?
Well, I think that now what we see, the general election is going to kick in, and what I think is happening, because of the fact that Rick Santorum appealed to a certain white working class voter, that we're going to see less about, those white working class voters are interested in what we might call the culture wars. We're going to see less culture war now, and we're going to see more what we might call class politics, because the economic divide, the old Occupy Wall Street divide, is going to come back, and we're going to see Obama forced into a position he doesn't like to take, which is arguing for against inequality, economic inequality, and for some kind of more fair situation. And Romney will be fighting against that pretty wholeheartedly, and he's going to be enabled to do that, especially since it's going to be interesting as well, because he has this sort of rich guy story, and that'll force this issue even more.
So why is Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul still in?
Well, they have every reason to stay in, especially Ron Paul, because he's pushing a message and an agenda rather than his own prospects. He never had a chance of winning anyway, so staying in is actually quite good for him. Newt Gingrich, I'd say it's not exactly clear. He might be able to ride a little bit of the wave coming out of this, now that the conservatives, if we might call it the conservative id, which has been very volatile through this, has nowhere to go. It might get behind Newt Gingrich, put a little bit of pressure still on Romney, keep him taking them seriously, and that's going to be the big concern. Does Mitt Romney take us seriously, because this has been the anybody but Romney campaign? That now is obviously Newt Gingrich in terms of the conservative side. So he may well stay in. He's already conceded for the most part, but really this is his last hurrah. He might as well use it.
Interesting race still ahead. Thank you, Solon, for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.